Hello, welcome to another edition of Chris Speaks. I'm your host, Chris Thompson, and I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore, and neither should you. Alright, we have a great show tonight. So, some of the headlines are Facebook blocks posts that use the term Zionist and even suspends accounts that use the term Zionist. Oh, but you can use it in a certain way, but you have to use a ton of words instead of just one word. Okay, another one is Israel drops bombs on kids playing soccer, like literally. They're outside in the middle of the day and they're dropping bombs on them. On purpose. And one of the other headlines, I got more, but these are the main ones. Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is the defense minister of Israel, has been accused of participating in torture. Of course, this is from a statement from Hamas, so we got to take it with a grain of salt. But I wouldn't put it past him. Okay, so the first one is all right. So Facebook suspends accounts. Facebook has a new rule change that will ban the term Zionist. Well, if used a certain way, because they're saying, well, because it's used interchangeably with Jewish people. Well, the only people that use it interchangeable with Jews are people who support Israel, because not all Jews are Zionists, not all Zionists are Jews, and it's bullshit. So, okay, and this is the thing. You can criticize Zionism as a philosophy, but you can't criticize Zionists. But you can criticize them as long as you call them people who follow the whatchamacallit, what did I say? The political philosophy of Zionism. And that would be a Zionist. I mean, come on, I hope you guys like the face. Okay, and this is the thing, this was the example. So, for example, you cannot, and this was by Facebook themselves that did this, you cannot say Zionists are stupid, but you can say that people who follow the philosophy of Zionism are stupid. But that's what Zionists are. That's basically saying you can't say communists are stupid. This is the one I'm going to use. I was going to use a different example, but it might be taken the wrong way. So you can't say that communists are stupid, but you can say that people who follow the political philosophy of communism are stupid. But that's a communist, and I don't think that. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to use the thing. And this is the thing, this is the double standard, and I've been on Facebook a lot, and both them and on X, they punish everybody who does something that's anti-Semitic, but they never do anything against the people doing the most blatant, disgusting anti-Arab, anti-Muslim hate. I mean, and nobody is getting their accounts suspended or having their posts blocked for saying that, for saying stuff like Palestinians don't exist. There's never been such thing as Palestine. I mean, isn't this a conflict of interest saying that he's a staunch Zionist? Excuse me, he's a staunch supporter of the political philosophy of Zionism. So he's doing it because of his own beliefs, and not his religious beliefs, but his political beliefs. So he's punishing other people for his ideology. So I mean, all this is a stunt to try to keep people from critiquing Zionists, or for a matter of fact, people who support Israel. That is the people that they're trying to stop the conversation that I'm having with you right now about what Israel's doing. Every expert says is genocide, and it's been genocide since the beginning. It always has. Nobody is buying the bullshit that Mark Zuckerberg is trying to sell, and we'll be lucky if this video doesn't get blocked. So this is all it is. All it is meant to quiet the dissent of those who are speaking out against genocide. And a lot of this is coming and a lot of the okay, I mixed myself up. Meanwhile, there is nobody talking about all the Islamophobia coming from the pro-Israel crowd, and they don't care about them. That's a religion that they don't. Everybody in America is familiar with Christianity and Judaism, and they're familiar with Islam too. They're just being assholes because it's okay if it's a religion that white people in America follow the most. Sure, there Muslims are of all color, but most people who the average American thinks of Muslims as people with brown skin from the Middle East. And even though that's not really true, the Middle East probably has the least amount of Muslims in it. So, I mean, this is the whole thing. This is why they're the ones who are doing the discrimination. When you're saying it's okay to talk crap, to say horrible things about Muslims and Arabs, but you can't say anything about white Jewish people. And we're not even saying anything about Jewish people. We're saying stuff about Israel. And the only people who are connecting Jewishness with Israel are Israelis. So let's get this real. And I mean, this is what they're doing. The next thing I'm about to talk about, they're dropping fucking bombs on the little kids playing soccer. You can't tell me that they didn't see it. So Israel perpetrated an airstrike. Yes, I said perpetrated, like they're perpetrators, as in they're war criminals. Perpetrated an airstrike on children near a school who were playing soccer. And I think this is the same school that they were showing where they were still trying to teach the kids. I guess they don't get summers off there. And I think part of the thing is just to keep them active and keep their minds on other things, because they're trying to have life as usual, the best they can, especially for these kids, because if not, these little kids are just going to be laying around looking up at the sky hoping they don't get bombs dropped on them, and then they freaking play soccer and these assholes fucking drop bombs on them. My next thing I put was, there's no way the IDF couldn't tell it was little kids playing soccer. This is insane that anyone would think that what Israel's doing is okay, and that it has anything to do with self-defense. What security breach, what horrible thing does Israel have to protect themselves from a bunch of little kids playing a soccer game? I mean, this is not self-defense. This is October 7th being used as an excuse to kill these people, to kill innocent people that have nothing to do with any of this. And the whole thing it's just insane. And that anybody thinks that's okay. I had told this on my last one. I spoke about this. I think it's oh come on, brain. A journal. It's a medical journal called the Lancet had reported that they estimate, and this is probably a conservative estimate, that from the war, from not just the people being dropped bombs on them, but the people that other things are killing them because of war, because of lack of access to things and stuff. They're estimating it at 186,000, and they say they're assuming it's probably much greater, because it usually is, because there's so many people that are underneath the rubble. Excuse me. Sorry, I get tongue twisted somewhere. Okay, and this one, it's not in this country. It was in, I guess, Abu Dhabi, which is in the United Arab Emirates. So there's, I guess, New York University has a branch over there in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, it's in the Middle East, somewhere in the UAE. And he was at graduation. So obviously, he's not from there. I don't know what country the person's from. Yelled "Free Palestine," and they deported him. And they don't have the same speech laws that we have. We have free speech, or at least we're totally supposed to have free speech. But yet Republicans who say they love America and they love everything about America want to deport international students for speaking out for their First Amendment rights. Because you got to realize that they don't realize this, is that the Constitution isn't written just for American citizens. It's written for everybody in the United States. So everybody in the United States is covered by the Bill of Rights. That's what it's there for. And you can't just deport them because you disagree with their political position. I mean, this is insane. I mean, you want to be like the UAE? I mean, I know how much the hardline Republicans are so terrified of Muslims, but yet you want to act just like them. Sorry, I'm not insulting Muslims. I'm just saying that they want to be like some Middle Eastern country. I mean, come on. That also sounded like an insult. Sorry, I'm not trying to water down. I'm not trying to make anyone who's from the Middle East feel bad. I'm trying to show you that the Republicans see them as something that's bad. So if you think it's bad, then why do you want to emulate countries like that? So, okay, I think I already mentioned that. I got my notes here. I don't always go word per word. Oh, this one's what's the word? Oh, I can't even. Yeah, I'm bad at words. Maybe I should put everything down. Okay. Anyways, this is a big one. Okay, so Itamar Ben-Gvir, I already said earlier, he's the defense minister of Israel, and this guy is nuts, man. This guy says that they should execute the prisoners they're holding for absolutely no reason, so they don't have to let them go. Okay, and we've been hearing things of guys that have been released, people that have been released from the Israeli prisons, of all the torture that's been going through. Well, according to, there was a statement that was released by Hamas that a Palestinian released from Israel prison claimed that Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is, like I said, the Israeli minister of national security. Okay, I said security. I didn't mention he's national security. That he participated in the torture himself. Now, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because, we're talking about Hamas, and Hamas tends to lie, just like any leaders of any country. And so, okay, I don't, like I said, take it with a grain of salt, but this guy is a sicko, and I wouldn't doubt I bet you he participates in rapes. I wouldn't put it past him, because he's a really hateful, nasty little fat man. Sorry, not putting down fat people. I'm just saying I don't like this guy at all. So this is the thing. So if this turns out to be true, then the world is really going to see what kind of allies we have. I mean, seriously, what if, I don't know, who would be a good person? I don't know. Say Kamala Harris participated in torturing people that are prisoners of war. Wouldn't we look at that and be like, what the hell? Yeah, and nobody would think that was cool. So why are we letting our supposed allies get away with this? I mean, I don't get it, man. I think this is the last one. Okay, so Microsoft, which is well known for its support of Israel, has been accused of blocking access of Palestinians living abroad, which so meaning out of Palestine, out of Gaza, say maybe in the United States or Saudi Arabia or anywhere else where it's from, that Microsoft is blocking their access to Skype, which can be used. With Skype, you don't have to have the internet in order to call someone on their cell phone. So, and they don't have internet right now because Israel's destroyed it. So, so several Palestinians living abroad have been banned for life from Skype and from their Microsoft, what should I call it? Email address, but that's how you connect to everything you have on the internet. And the first they said, they were saying, and okay, and this is coming from the BBC, so the people that the BBC talked to, they said all that they said was that they had violated their terms of service. And then, but when people asked, they never told them anything. Some people tried to fill out forms and all this stuff, and no one got back to them. The only thing that got back to them is that they claimed that them or their family back in Gaza had connections to Hamas. And so, like, okay. All right, so there was this guy who talked to the BBC. His name is, I don't know, Ayad Hameto. I don't know if I spelt the last name right. Anyways, and I can't pronounce the name. I'm sorry. I don't I don't know Arabic. Please forgive me. Okay, so he says, we are civilians with no political background who just wanted to check in on our families. Perhaps Microsoft uses Israel's definition of Hamas, which is basically every Palestinian. And I'm going to put that out there. I mean, they do have unwavering support for Israel. Perhaps it's to make sure, and perhaps because they have that thing with Israel, they're trying to block any messages coming out of there because they want to control the information coming out there, any information that might be damning to Israel, because they're fucking dropping bombs on kids playing soccer. Jesus Christ, sorry. Sorry for taking Jesus' name in vain or whatever. And if you're offended, oh well, be offended. Sorry. Basically, they're just that, and that's the whole reason. Whatever Israel says that why they destroyed the internet infrastructure in Gaza, we know why they're doing it, because all of the live streaming that was getting out of there, and that's why stuff's slowing down of the information, because they're not letting reporters in and out. They're not, and they've cut off internet access, and they said they'll probably never have internet again. Well, why should Israel get to control who has internet or who doesn't? I mean, are we gonna give the Palestinians rights already? Give them fucking rights. What about their human rights? What about their right to exist? What about their right to not be bombed? How about their right to defend themselves? And I don't mean like no, and I mean in a way where they have an actual military that if they're attacked they respond, and none of this killing innocent people thing, because you know when one side does it, the other side thinks it's okay, and it's not okay. I don't want anybody to die. I don't even want soldiers to die, because I was a soldier and never fought in any war, but you know, I wouldn't want someone to kill me. It's like, can't we figure out a better way to resolve our differences? And especially not killing kids. I mean, come on. And how anybody can think that that's okay. It's just like how the difference of the reaction when a children's hospital in Ukraine was bombed. It was like, it's so terrible. every goddamn hospital, there's like a couple hospitals left in Gaza. What about all of them? And this was one thing I saw. I guess the guy's the press secretary, because he's the guy who's talking to the press in the press the press meetings, whatever they call them. And they were telling him the new number that I gave you, and he said, well, both of those numbers are unacceptable. Well, if it's unacceptable, then why are we still arming them? Why are we sending bombs and planes and guns and tanks for Israel to just like exterminate these people? If it's unacceptable, then why are we taking part in it? Like, really, if you can say it's unacceptable, then how can you sit there and lie for the people that are who are sending the bombs there? You're lying for the politicians who are enabling this to happen. They are participating by sending the weapons that are being used to murder innocent civilians. They are, by proxy, taking place in the atrocities themselves. So you can say that it's unacceptable. Well, if it's unacceptable, then it's unacceptable to support them militarily. I would say that it's inappropriate to support them at all until they stop this shit, and they stop it once and for all. Not, for now, and then they start killing them again maybe 10 years down the line, as they call it, mowing the grass. Yeah, the Israelis, the leadership literally call it mowing the grass. Make sure they can cut down. This was going to happen whether October 7th happened or not. I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's why the Israeli government allowed it to happen. Yes, they knew about it weeks ahead of time. Everybody says it. The claim that people are saying, I don't know if there was an actual response from the government, and but it has been said that people think that, they just didn't think the Palestinians could do it. Not Palestinians, excuse me. I don't want you to conflate them with Hamas, because Hamas is Hamas, and not all Palestinians are Hamas. They're just Palestinians. They're normal people. But Hamas, this is why they let Hamas do what they did, because they wanted a freaking excuse to finish the job, basically. The job that they've been trying to do for 75 plus years, except when they tried to do it, they started getting shit from the international community, and they thought that, I mean, come on, we're talking about less than 2,000 people that were killed on October 7th, and we don't even know if that's a correct number, because the cat's been let out of the bag by Israeli newspapers themselves, saying that, Israel purposely killed their own civilians to keep them from being taken hostages. And this is the thing, there wouldn't be any need for Hamas to take hostages if Israel didn't constantly grab Palestinians, arrest them for no reason, a lot of them children, and throw them in their concentration camps where they torture them, and now they're wondering if they should kill them so they don't have to let them loose, because the prisons are so full. They're so full of people that are never charged with a crime. So this is the thing. Do we really want to be associated with people that do such horrible things? I mean, I guess it never mattered before. I mean, and then it always bites us in the ass. I mean, Noriega was our guy in Panama. He was a thug, but we used him as a thug to keep the Panamanians in line and to keep the Panama Canal under our control. He went rogue, we had to go after him. Saddam Hussein, he went rogue, we had to go after him. There's so many thugs. The Shah that we put in Iran, he went rogue, and the religious fanatics took took it into their own hands, and now we have the mess that Iran is now. So, and all the stuff in South America and other places that we propped up dictatorships to make sure that we can keep building up our money. This is the problem, and this is the problem. There's many problems, but you know, one of the main problems of this type of capitalism that we have is that we have to keep waging wars and propping up dictators and doing all this horrible stuff and screwing people over so we can keep this type of lifestyle where we run everything. So, I mean, and they're like, whoa, it works. Yeah, it works for the rich people making profits, and it doesn't work for the poor people in other countries who are having their democracy overthrown and for the past like 60 years or so in order to make sure that Dole or whatever fruit company can have what they want. Well, you know, a lot of you don't know this, and this is like completely off of the Israel thing, is the reason Hawaii is a state is because a fruit company, and is it Dole? No, I don't think it was Dole. It was Del Monte, I believe. The Del Monte Fruit Company overthrew the queen. I think she was a queen of Hawaii, in order for them to steal all their coconuts and bananas and whatever stuff they grow there. A true story, man. You can look it up. They literally, a fruit company literally overthrew them. I'm sure they hired some mercenaries to do it for them, and then it was incorporated into the United States. So the United States has a long, nasty history of doing horrible things so the rich people can keep being rich and the poor can keep getting poorer. And they don't give a... Do you think our politicians give a damn about you and me? No, they care about those campaign donations coming from those horrible companies that are all right with killing people in order to get what they want. This is how the rich are, man. And people want to say, oh, it works. Yeah, who's it working for? It ain't working for me. I mean, it's not... I mean, hey, but the thing that's actually working for me is something that is considered socialism or communism by other people, and it's social security, because I'm disabled, I have mental disabilities, so I would be on the street otherwise. So that works, but that's not really part of capitalism. That's part of socialism. That's a social program. So I mean, truthfully, there's socialism and there's capitalism in all throughout different things of the United States. And you know, usually it's the capitalism shit that screws everyone over, and it's the social programs that help people. The same social programs that the Republicans want to gut, how the Democrats want to gut it now too. It's like, why? Especially Social Security. Do you know how many people pay into Social Security and die before they can before they can claim it? And you know where it goes? It probably goes to Israel to drop bombs on little school children. So, you know, this is just the thing, man. You think that the powers that be and are out there for you? No. And you think that... I just don't understand, like, I'll see things about, like, people who are conservatives and how they're like some poor country bumpkin in a trailer in, I don't know, like Kentucky or something, and they're really concerned about rich people having to pay taxes. Dude, you live in a fucking trailer and you probably have like a 5th grade education. What the fuck do you care about whether rich people pay taxes or not? I mean, this is the whole thing. I mean, we really need to start making changes, and making changes within the democratic system, within our system, and not this bullshit that they're planning to do if Trump becomes president again, that Project 2025, where they basically said we're going to do a revolution, and as long as you guys just sit around and let it happen, it can be bloodless. So they'll kill us if we try to stop them. But if we don't, and we just let them turn this place into a shitty fucking theocracy, they basically want to turn this place into the Christian version of fucking Iran, man. They hate Iran so much, but they want to make America like that. Well, just like, I mean, what do you think Israel is? It's the freaking Jewish version of fucking Iran. It's a theocracy led by religious fanatics that are murdering people to steal their land. And guess where that land's going to? Auctions to people in New York and LA, and then when people protest them selling illegal land that they have stolen, like they were literally already selling beachfront property in freaking Gaza, and they're doing it in LA through a synagogue. Hey man, didn't Jesus like overturn tables when they were doing shit like that in the synagogues and the temples for selling shit and trying to make it into it's a house of basically like a mall, man, and Jesus got pissed and threw that shit over. Well, this is what is happening. I mean, it's the same freaking thing. It's insane, man. No, their politicians, you think their politicians care about their people? No. They've been obsessed the whole time with just killing or expelling the Palestinians. Now I think they've just decided that they're just going to kill them all, because they haven't let anybody out. They haven't let anybody go out. They've trapped them and made it sure they can't go in the Sinai. You know why they don't want them to go in the Sinai Desert? Because they're planning on taking that over pretty soon. Like, it's literally t-shirts that are saying Greater Israel. Oh hell, and the patch the soldiers have is bigger than that. It's like the majority of what we consider the Middle East. So it's all about colonialism. That's what most of the crap is. And the reason for colonialism is so corporations can make money. That's how it's always been. That's what it will always be, until we say fuck that shit. But we're not going to do it in a violent way. We're going to do it through protests, through getting people. I don't know. I really don't know what the plan is, but we got to have some plan to change things peacefully. And there's ways to do it. I mean, I don't know, maybe figure out, I don't know, maybe support a third party and get enough money behind them that they'll finally let a third party be on all the ballots in every state and get up on the debates. And because it would have been nice to have a third voice in the debates between these two knuckleheads that are just writing a love letter to Israel and Israel's government. And it's just, I mean, I don't know, it's not like Israel is really any different from any other horrible nation that murders other people that the United States has propped up. I mean, yeah, and once again, okay, people are having lip service. The UN is saying it's genocide and crimes against humanity, and okay, the ICC has got like a arrest warrant in like a handful of countries, but like for Benjamin Netanyahu, but it's not like it'll stop if he's arrested. And really, a lot of stuff is being said, and it's great that they're finally acknowledging what's been going on for a long time, but nobody's doing anything about it. And I mean, right now, the only thing I can see that can change anything is getting out there. I mean, hey, if you guys are out there protesting, get out there and protest. When Netanyahu comes, I want to see fucking thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in D.C. As many people that can go out there to Washington, D.C. to protest this baby killer going and making a speech to all the bootlickers in Congress. And yes, I called you fucking bootlickers, you bootlicking bastards. You fucking, like, how can you live with yourselves at night? The kind of stuff that you support, the kind of, you send bombs that are being dropped on children playing soccer, or children sleeping at night, and their families. It's disgusting. And anybody, I think any person that has some kind of conscience in the United States or anywhere else, if they seen the images I've seen, and man, if you're out on social media, try to get those images out there as much as possible. I know they're getting like stuff where they're blurring them out until you click on them, or putting some kind of note of, oh, it's sensitive. But I've seen worse stuff. It's just, that's the whole thing. They're trying to fuck over. They're trying to take the media and control it, and they haven't had control over the internet, so they're trying to control what you and me say. So they've already got the mainstream media under their control. This is the United States government. I'm not saying anything about Israel or Jewish people, because first of all, Jewish people haven't done anything. They're fine. The Israel and their supporters have done wrong, and the government and the people in the military, and you know, all the people before they're in the military and out, when they get out of the military in Israel, to me they're still civilians. They still deserve to live. I know some of them have done bad things out there, and this is the thing, and it's kind of irritated me when people are cheering this on, but there's been several IDF soldiers that have, once they got out of Gaza and once they went home, they blew their brains out, and it's sad. And I saw people, oh, that's what they get. Dude, they're killing themselves because they have a conscience, because they've gone in there, they did horrible things, they were ordered to do things, they did bad things, and they get out there and they feel bad about it. So, I mean, I'm not going to cheer on their death. Being a soldier, sure, and you got to remember, these people are drafted. They don't have a choice. The minute they're 18, they're drafted, and they're usually sent out to do some shitty thing in Gaza or in the West Bank. And you also got to know, a lot of the people in Israel, there is so much, what's it called? Come on, brain work. There has been so much propaganda that they're hit with, that they don't know what's really going on in Gaza. They don't know it unless they've been there. And I'm talking about, sure, probably in the past, some of them, since, like I said, they have to go into the military. But, I mean, this is a whole new, I mean, it's similar stuff. It's just on such a huge scale. So, don't hate Jewish people around the world, who most of them have nothing to do with it. And then there's some people who support them, so they support them. So what? They're not. I would say that they're confused. I say some of the people that are pro-Israel are confused, and probably have their moral compass is a little slanted. But all I say is watch out for pro-Israel people. When you're protesting, they get violent. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them as people, okay? And Israel, mainly you know who you should be mad about is the government in Israel, and the governments in other countries that are sending the weapons to Israel. Don't be mad at the Israelis as a whole. Don't be mad at Jewish people as a whole, because that's just hate. You don't want to go down that hate thing. I mean, look at what has happened with Muslims and brown-skinned people in general, and this is why it's easy for countries to send bombs to Israel to drop on them, because in order to do stuff and go fight in other countries, Middle Eastern or whatever, they start dehumanizing the people there. The minute you start blaming an entire people for something, that's when you have something like Gaza. That's when you end up with something like the Holocaust. And God forbid that ever happen. You cannot blame an entire people for what's going on somewhere in the world. I mean, you can't even blame all the Israeli people. They're brainwashed. They're forced into the army, made to fight. But you know, it's shitty when some asshole that's from fucking Netanyahu grew up in New York City. He's from New York, and his name wasn't originally Netanyahu. His like grandfather changed their last name. It was some like they're Russians, and he grew up in New York. And maybe it's a good thing that we don't let people who were born in different countries become our president. I don't know. Maybe it's stupid to do it that way, but I think it's crazy that there's some guy who didn't even grow up in Israel, and he's basically running everything with his little government. It's the people in the government, man, and and even them, like the people who run Israel, the government, even this Ben Gvir asshole that's torturing people, they deserve their day in court. They don't deserve to be killed. I mean, some people would disagree with me, but he deserves his day in court. And even Hamas, even the Hamas people, who are, a lot of people consider them terrorists, even they deserve their day in court. Not like this idea to go out and it's against international law to do extrajudicial oh come on, when they kill people, it's assassinations. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do your best to get them and arrest them and put them in court. And you'd say, well, Chris, they're terrorists. Well, my God, you know how many people who were considered terrorists that really did nothing wrong when we went into Afghanistan, and they basically arrested everybody on the countryside who had a gun, and they put them in the base in Cuba, and they tortured them, and 90% of those guys didn't do anything. They were just normal people. And then they were like, well, we're afraid to let them loose because now they might become terrorists because we tortured them. You think? And if those people were given their day in court before they were thrown into a military prison and tortured, we wouldn't have ISIS. If we wouldn't be blowing up people in different countries, we wouldn't have groups like ISIS. I mean, hell, even Al-Qaeda was a response to Western interventions, which I mean, killing people and stealing property and oil and all that shit. A lot of the problems that we have to deal with, groups that come out of the Middle East that end up being considered terrorists, well, they're usually, people who become terrorists are usually responding to pain of losing people, and they find someone to blame. And this is another thing. So you got people like ISIS, and you got people like Al-Qaeda, and they all blame the West. So, and that's the whole thing, is they start blaming one group of people. You can't do that. That's where you end up with the Holocaust. And we don't need that to ever happen again. And we need to stop a Holocaust that's happening now. So don't hate all Israelis. Don't hate all Jewish people, because for Christ's sake, a good half of them, maybe more, are against what Israel's doing. So, I mean, it was cool to see that there were a bunch of, I don't know if they're Hasidic Jews, because I think they're called ultra-Orthodox. And I think ultra-Orthodox is like a step up of Hasidic Jews, but they kind of wear the same outfits. But they're going around and they're protesting what's going on in Gaza. And you gotta realize, it's not like the United States where you might get beat up a little bit, and God forbid something happens where people get killed, but they literally, Israel will kill their own citizens for speaking out against what they're doing to the Palestinians. Okay, so I've gone a little longer than I meant to. I need to get off of here and spend some time with my baby, my love, and because, hey, that's I really want to go watch a movie with her or something. So I'll see you guys later, and let me see. Oh yeah, I forgot my my thing I do. Okay, so this has been another episode of Chris Speaks, and I'm your host, Chris Thompson, and I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore, and neither should you.